Hello, hello there. We are live here on Shanty Bloom. I just want to welcome you all in another episode of Bloom with Purpose here on Shanty Bloom. And thank you all. Thank you all. If you're coming in and you can hear me. I believe you can see me, but if you can hear me clearly, just let me know. Or if you can't, let me know as well. I always like to check on sound because that's very important. So, welcome, welcome in. It's another episode of us discussing. And if you're new here, it's been celebrating moms all month long, the month of May. I'm so passionate about motherhood. I believe that a good part of me and finding myself, those experiences have come from my experiences in motherhood. And so I thought, why not celebrate moms all month long? Why only on Mother's Day, which happens to be celebrated in the month of May? And so it's been an amazing ride. We've already had three powerful women come and share with us, two powerful women, sorry, share with us so far, moms, and a lot of people connected to their stories. I've had a lot of questions. I've had a lot of people, just sharing testimonies of how they have been blessed. So thank you all so much for those who have been able to make it and sit through those episodes. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, that we have three more. We have three more to go, and I really just it's my desire that by the end of these live sessions, a mom will be able to do motherhood from a place of joy and from a place of fulfillment. And so I want not only you to be a part of these episodes, but to grab another sister, to grab another mama, so that you can be a part of this together. So if you're joining me here today again for another episode, welcome, welcome in. If this is your first time, welcome in, and even more special welcome to you. My name is Chantal, and here on Shanty Bloom, I just share applicable principles, simple practical steps and tips, and I also bring you amazing stories like the ones you're going to be hearing here today, which goes to help you deal with different baggages in our lives that sometimes cloud our judgment, sometimes prevents us from seeing clearly, from gaining clarity of purpose in life. We all have a purpose to live here on earth, and the different seasons and circumstances we find ourselves in at times can prevent us from clearly knowing what our God-given assignment is. And so that's what Shanti Bloom is all about. And if that's something that you're interested in, if you feel stuck, you feel lost, you need some clarity to see where to go in life, Shanty Bloom is the place for you. So please consider subscribing, keeping that notification bell on so that you will be notified when amazing sessions like this go on. And when, I do come up with other shorter videos where I share practical things that can help you navigate life and fully walk in your purpose. So enough of me, enough of what Shanty Bloom is all about. On to what we are here to do today. We are here to look at how we can rediscover ourselves in motherhood. Motherhood is one of those things that at some point you feel like you lose yourself, but it's so beautiful because within it you find yourself and you can keep going. So how can we do that? How can we get to that point where we find ourselves in motherhood? We know who we are outside of the role of motherhood, and we can live those fulfilled lives. And I'm so honored and I'm so excited to be doing this today with someone I think should really be the one to have this conversation with, and that is none other than my friend and sister here, Rita Chidinma. Welcome in, Rita. Welcome in. I'm so excited that I have this conversation with you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chantal. Actually, when you reached out to me, you wanted us to have this session. I was so glad to hear from you because I need more women, more young mothers to really, I don't know how to put it, like come into themselves, really understand their roles as women, as young mothers, and understand what it is that they are supposed to be doing at this particular stage of their life. As someone who has struggled a lot in motherhood, I really, really wish that we can just get the information across to as many moms as we can.
Oh, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I'm honored. I'm glad that you were able to honor this invitation and be here
Okay.
with us right now. And I know it's going to be an amazing time here. Before our
Yes, yes. I
audience
hope
get to
so
know a little
too.
bit more about you, your story, and some great tips and hacks that you're going to give moms here today, I just want to here again welcome all those who are tuning in. I see my hobbies here. Welcoming baby says, can't wait for the conversation. Yes, he is looking forward for the conversation. I have mommy here. Hello, mom. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're coming in, please just let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll be glad to hear you. Don't shy away. Say hi, hello. And again, like Rita has said, she loves to call moms into conversations like this. So this is
Yeah.
not going to be like some interview. This is a conversation we're having as moms. So please don't be afraid. Jump right into the chat. Ask your questions. Share your own stories. If you say something that you can relate to as a mom, raise your hand. I'm going to be raising mine up here as well. So please, again, welcome in, and do say hi, hello when you do come in, and that will be good. So, Rita, let me just ask you. You've just said part of it. What really, how did your burden to speak to women, mothers in particular, and I think you gravitate more towards stay-at-home moms, work from
Yes,
home
yes.
moms. What is it within you that brought you to that, or gave you that passion, that desire to speak to these particular women? I ask this question because talking about challenges in motherhood out there, I know that sometimes there's that extreme. I've seen people say, "Oh, please don't talk about this. You people make motherhood to feel like it's a bad thing. You're discouraging the new generation, or kids will feel that they're a burden." I know there's that extreme where people take things like
Yeah.
bad stuff, but I want to ask you, from where did this you come with this message, with this passion to speak to this group of women? Because you have an amazing community that I see online
Thank
who
you.
just pour in and ask their questions and talk, laugh, and cry with you.
Okay. So thank you. Actually, from I started off as just another stay-at-home mom. Just that in my case, it wasn't a deliberate choice. So I got married in my final year in school, and then I think before I wrote my final exams, I was already married. So in my country, there's something called the National Youth Service.
Hmm.
So after graduating, I went to my National Youth Service. I was already pregnant then. So by the time I concluded, I was still going out every day, going for like all the activities we had for that 1 year. So it really didn't dawn on me that I was a stay-at-home mom. So it was after I had concluded the program, I suddenly had nowhere to go. I was just at home. By that time, I had two little babies. And then my husband would just wake up, dress up, go to work. That was when it dawned on me like, you're actually a stay at home mom. You are actually a stay at home mom. And I couldn't remember taking a conscious decision, okay, this is what I want to do at this stage of my life. So then there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of bitterness. There was a lot of resentment. I just felt like, oh wow, Rita, you really didn't think this through. Maybe you should have delayed motherhood for some time, maybe gotten a corporate job and everything. So I had a lot of things going on inside my head at the same time. And then what made my journey into motherhood tougher was that there was no space in between my first and second baby. So I discovered I was pregnant with my second baby when my first baby was around 6 months old. But that wasn't the bombshell. The bombshell was that the scan showed the pregnancy to be over 3 months old. So I had my first two kids 11 months apart. It was a very hectic experience. So I went through I went through self-doubt. I went through resentment. I went through guilt. I felt like I didn't give my first baby the chance to be a baby before
Hmm.
I brought in another baby. So
Hmm.
there were a lot of things, there were a lot of experiences I had that I felt all alone in the whole world. I had social media accounts. I had an Instagram page, a personal Instagram page. I had a Facebook account. I was on WhatsApp, but if I come on social media, I would see this picture perfect motherhood. You see videos and pictures of women smiling with their kids and everything. So I would always ask myself, Am I the only one in the whole world passing through this thing? Like, it's my own so different. If I go on Facebook, I'll see the same thing. If I go on Instagram, I'll see the same thing. And then the only confidence I had as I then was my mom, because I was the first of my siblings to get married. So if I talked to my mom about my challenges, she would just tell me that this is how it is. Like at this stage, but that you eventually pass this stage of your life. But I wanted to speak with someone that can connect with what I was really going through in real time. Like, I didn't want to have that picture of myself in the future where I would be okay with everything. I wanted to be okay in the present. So one day during the epic COVID lockdown, the initial lockdown, not before people started flaunting the lockdown, just those initial ones that everyone was indoors
Yeah.
in 2020. So I was indoors. I was with three little kids under for, I think my oldest was 4 years plus, and then I felt
Mm.
like I was living in a flat with like 50 other people. You know how energetic toddlers can be.
Yeah.
That afternoon, I called my sister. I was like, I'm fed up. I'm fed up. If you hear that I passed away, just know that motherhood did it to me. So she started laughing at me. So I was like, I should calm down. So I told her, really, really, I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated that I feel like starting an Instagram page for moms that are not enjoying motherhood, the exact opposite of the motherhood stories you read in the media, like moms who are just having a good time with their kids, taking perfect pictures. I told my sister that I want to start a page that shows the exact opposite. Like this enjoyment of motherhood. It's not my story at all. This is my story. I want to share this with other people. So she was like, "Ah, it's a good idea now since everyone is at home and everything." So that was how I started the Instagram page, Young Nigerian Mom. And the thing that humbled me so much is that with each story of my life, my motherhood life, I told, there was always someone to relate with me. There
Yeah.
was there were even people that passed through more difficult things than I did. Okay,
Really?
I said I had my two babies 11 months apart. There was a mom that she had a baby now, and then she got pregnant for twins about a month later, and she went ahead to have the twins. When she left the comments on my post, I was so humbled. I was like, God, have I been grumbling too much? This person actually went through something even tougher than mine. You
Mm.
understand? So that was how I started that page. And then I discovered that sharing my story with other people brought the sense of healing I had been missing all the time since I started my motherhood journey. So
Yeah.
that was how I started. The more I showed up to encourage mothers on my page, the more I discovered myself like, okay, you've been through this. And apparently, you used to think that there was nobody else passing through this thing in the whole world. But you can now see that there are so many people that are passing through difficult times in the early years of their motherhood. Why don't you then stand in the gap to encourage these women? So
Thank you.
that was how the whole thing started. Yeah.
I love that. I love that, Rita. I just love the way the way you put. I mean, if you're tuning in, I'm sure you're already connecting with Rita. That's just who she is, and that's how she will just. You feel like you're just having a chat with her, even through her writing and her posts. And you know why I asked you this, and I'm really happy you shared it. It's because I have been in that place myself where sometimes we could be judgmental, like why are people demonizing marriage when it's such a beautiful thing and beautiful,
Yeah.
even though I mean, an amazing marriage. So it used to be like, why are people demonizing marriage? Why are you demonizing motherhood? Why are people making teenager season to be like, oh my goodness, a teenager is this demon? If you have one, you are all done. Like we just put certain labels in certain things or seasons or stages in life. And I
Yes,
was like,
yes,
why
yes.
do people do that? There are beautiful marriages out there. But someday I stopped and I was like, it is true that there is negativity out there, but sometimes that that extreme is somebody's truth. That
Yes,
extreme where somebody is demonizing marriage is because it's coming from their truth. Somebody is
yes.
looking at
Coming from their
motherhood like
personal
something they don't
experience.
want to ever be a part of. It's because it's their truth. Somebody
Yeah.
is like, I don't want to ever have a teenager because they have had one that has made them lose their minds. And I told myself, instead of judging people for going to extremes, why don't I be that voice that listens to them and gives a guide on how they can see it differently? And I think that is just
Yes,
what
yes, yes.
you're doing. rather than saying that, you know what, I don't want to make motherhood look as if, let me pretend that it's okay. And to be honest with you, some people could really be having it easier, they have
Of
different things
course,
that is
of course.
making them having it
Because
easier.
when I write on my blog, I always say
Mm,
that I know some people might be having an easier time than I am
yeah,
in motherhood,
yes,
but I'll
yes,
keep telling you my own real story. I'm
right.
not having an easy time. I'm not about to pretend that I'm having an easy time, even though I know that some have it way easier than I do.
Yes,
But it's not my experience, and I'm
yes,
telling you about my own
yes,
experience. So,
yes,
building on what you just said now,
yeah,
when you hear the negative aspects to maybe teenage life, marriage, motherhood, I believe that it comes from a place of honesty.
yeah,
That person telling you that stuff at that particular point in time has probably experienced it personally,
yeah,
or someone very close to them
mm,
has experienced that thing personally,
mm,
which is why I believe so much in preparation, in having the adequate information. When moms to be uh, make a comment on some of my posts, I really am scared though. I'll say, don't be scared. Count yourself blessed, count yourself lucky that you have this information, that you
yeah,
have someone telling you in real time, this is how it can be. It doesn't mean
yeah,
that this is how it must be
it
for you,
must be.
but this is how it can be. So it enables you to prepare adequately. And even when you're done preparing, because one can never ever be fully prepared for motherhood, even when you're fully prepared and then something just happens out of the blue that just leaves you confused, at least you can know that you're not alone. At
Mm,
least you can know that you're not the whole one in the whole world. You're not the only one in the whole world that experienced this particular thing, because a lot of times, especially in my part of the world, mothers struggle a lot because of lack of adequate information. A mom could be pregnant, or a mom to be could be pregnant, and then you go for your antenatal classes, you attend the entire 9 months, but they never tell you about the transition from girl life or woman life to motherhood. Nobody ever mentions it. Like it's almost as if it doesn't exist. So when you're going through it, you don't even have anybody to talk to, because during the month before you arrived at this stage, nobody bothered to prepare you for it. Everyone just feels like you should take it in stride, take it in stride. I know that we should take it in stride, but having some helpful information before actually experiencing that thing goes a
mm.
long way to help.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much. So that's I just wanted us to start with this so that
Yeah,
we all, even the audience, should see why these conversations are important. The motive behind all of this is not to say, oh my goodness, motherhood is so bad, run away from it. It
yes,
is to
yes,
help somebody out there who is having a completely different experience. And again, through stories of how we have navigated. Somebody once said, I don't remember, it was even one of my family members who said something that was beautiful. He said, we say gray hair is wisdom, right? Like you go through something and you have learned.
yes,
But it says that you must not always learn from gray hair. Somebody might have their own hair may have gotten gray so that
yes.
you
You
will
can learn
learn and yours
from
will not
the other person's
yours
experience.
will
Yes,
not
yes,
get gray. So I think that it is true, and that we should share these things, talk about these challenges. And I love your approach. You've never come from a place of saying run away from motherhood is so bad, but you have come from a place of sharing the realities of it and making people
yeah,
feel like they can talk. Because if somebody feels like I am odd to feel this way about motherhood, they'll never talk about it. But when you give a platform where they can feel comfortable talking about their challenges,
yeah.
that's
To
only
express
when now they
themselves.
can get the help. That's when they can
Yes,
get the help. I always say, if I don't give an atmosphere where my kids can tell me what they're going through, it doesn't matter how amazing of a mom I am and how much I can help them. I will never know what they're going through to help them. So thank you so much for creating that kind of atmosphere around you and in your
okay.
platform. And I think that is why you're drawing in so many moms. They're being able to come there and feel relate, not just feel like form a group of, okay, let's sit there and cry about motherhood, but a community where they are getting help on how to do this motherhood with a lot of joy and from a place of fulfillment. So thank you so much. And I just want to again welcome those who are now just joining us. I see a number of other people have joined us. Thank you, Nina. Welcome in. Welcome in, Loveline. I see you. Moms, just I see you. Hello, welcome in. And please, as you come in, continue to share your own experiences. You can ask questions if you do have them as we're going along in this conversation. If you just joined now, we are looking at discovering your sense of self in motherhood. And Rita has already shared with us beautifully what led to her, finding herself in this place. So welcome. Hey, Amabel, I see you. Welcome in. Okay, Rita, something I wanted to say, looking at this story of losing ourselves in motherhood is not something strange. Every single mother will tell you. Some people may not even know that that's what they're experiencing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
experiencing
that's me.
things you
I
don't
found
even
out
know that
later.
what you're experiencing is because you are losing a part of you. So I wanted to just ask you that what are some initial or changes that a mother notices about herself, be it physical, emotional, mental? What are some changes that a mother would notice in herself the moment you step into motherhood?
Okay, the changes a mom will notice in herself after she steps into motherhood. First of all, the most basic that we all have experienced, your body will change. Your body will
Mhm.
definitely change. For some women, their body just changes minimally. Like it's not so obvious. They almost look exactly the same. They may not feel the same inside, but they look almost the same as they used to look before motherhood. But then for some other women, the body changes are quite extreme. Like
Mhm.
if you see the mom and then you almost find it difficult to recognize her
Recognize.
as the lady you used to know. So God gave us different bodies, God gave us different systems. So for every woman, her body will react to pregnancy and childbirth differently. So you
Mhm.
just find where you fall in and then you accept your body for what it is. I know it can be hard. This one is a whole different topic altogether. The whole snapback pressure and everything. But the first change a mom will definitely notice is the physical changes in her body. Then the second one, which for me is even more profound than the first one, is the I call it the mental gymnastics you experience, from before you became a mom to after you become a mom. So I think in maternal psychology it's called matrescence. So the transition from just a regular young woman to becoming a mom is very tough. So and it's also even tougher when you've never heard of it before. You've never heard that there are psychological changes that will happen to you after you become a mom. You've not heard that your entire personality might change.
Yeah.
For me, my entire personality changed. The change I went through was so profound that my siblings, one time they were going through my old laptop, a laptop I had left behind in the family house, and I was just living in another state with my husband. So they were going through the laptop and then they were seeing pictures of me as a student. And then they were sending me WhatsApp messages that they can swear that it's not the same person. And the thing that moved me so much was that they were not even talking about the physical changes. It was personality wise. They were like that I had changed so much from who I used to be to the person that they knew, like as at that present day. So I would say the first one is physical changes, like your body.
Yeah.
Then the second one is psychological changes that you go through. Then the third one is your relationships. Your relationships should definitely
Oh,
change.
yeah.
Motherhood has a way of affecting your relationships. So when you put these three things together, a mom is most likely to struggle because motherhood has a way of just if there was an area of your life that you had balance in before, motherhood just has a way of upsetting that balance, and then you start struggling, struggling,
To
struggling.
balance.
Yes, and then after a while, you get yourself. So I would say bodily changes, psychological changes, and changes in personality, and then changes in relationships.
Okay. Okay. That's good. And somewhere I think some of these changes, I think the list can even go on and on and on.
Yes,
Even your desires,
and
your
there are so many
priorities.
factors that
So
contribute
yeah,
to
so
the
many
changes.
things, but I think some of these changes end up intertwining or make somebody feel like it's a loss.
Yes,
I
yes.
just wanted to ask you if some losses, because I think you know, there's this article I had seen. I think I was in college. I have used all kind of words on Google to see if that article will ever come up again, and I've not been able to get it. But this writer really addressed the different losses in life in a very beautiful way. He says that growth, as you're growing and achieving certain things, somewhere there are little losses along, and we grieve the loss without even realizing that we're grieving it. You get into marriage, it's a beautiful thing, but there's something you let go for that. You know, you get into
Yeah,
motherhood,
of
it's a
course,
beautiful, but there's something you let go for that. And
of
like you're
course.
saying, there's the psychological change to that. Your
Yeah,
body kind of grieves it without going through all the stages of grieving, and at times you do not realize it. I think, but I felt why I keep looking for this article is because I feel like if I read it now, it will make more sense to me than it did then. You know, there were just some things that
yeah,
was just
yeah.
like, what is this? But it keeps coming back to me. So I just wanted to ask you, what are some of the losses? You know, it's still under that changes. Some losses that a mom would experience, or or what is it in motherhood that makes you feel that you have lost your sense of self? You know, I ask this so that somebody may able to diagnose what season they are in and what is going on in life. It's
Yeah.
very easy not to know what is going on with you, and then you are blaming a spouse, blaming your mother, blaming an auntie, uncle, blaming the kids. Meanwhile, it's something from within. Just recently,
Yes,
I
yes,
talked about the importance of quieting the noise within you before thinking about the noise around you. So I'm asking this question so that we can maybe help a mom who just does cannot put their mind on what is happening, to realize that maybe it has nothing to do with the people or circumstances you're blaming, but maybe just some
yes,
of the
yes, yes.
things that you have to navigate. So, what are some of the losses, or that, or how does what is it in motherhood that makes a mom come to a place of feeling like she has lost her sense of self?
Okay, so the most common one, especially for new moms, stay-at-home moms, mothers of young children, maybe typically from age 5 below, from age 5 to the newborn phase, is that if you find that your entire life now revolves around your kids, like your life in its entirety now revolves around your kids, there is a very, very good chance that you've lost yourself. Now, this is
Mhm.
an irony because when you think of a new mother or a mom with three, four, or two little kids below the age of 5, or a postpartum mom, the first thing you think of is, of course, her life revolves around her kids. At that stage, babies, toddlers, they need 24 hours care, like they need round the clock care. So of course her life will revolve around her kids. But there's a subtle difference. There's a difference between a mom's life revolving around her kids and then her daily activities revolving around her kids. So
Okay.
in the early age of motherhood, it's more of doing, like you do and do and do, and then you do some more. The doing doesn't end. So so the being part of motherhood, like a mom being who you are, comes later, comes later. But it shouldn't actually be that way. You understand? So over the years I've learned that motherhood is actually more of who we are
Yeah.
to our children, to our families, and less of what we do for them. So your entire activities, all of your activities in the early years of motherhood could be revolving around your kids, but your entire personality doesn't revolve around them. For instance, if you used to have a hobby before motherhood, and then all of a sudden you find out that you cannot even spare 15 minutes in a whole day to do something for you, for yourself, that doesn't involve caring for a baby or caring for a young or caring for young children, there are chances that you've lost yourself. I say this because God created each and every one of us with a unique destiny.
Mhm.
And then motherhood is part of it. As women, motherhood is a divine calling and it's part of it, but it's not all of it. There is something that you were created in this world for. And then at the early years of motherhood, it will be very, very blurry. So even if you say you want to start engaging in a hobby right now, it doesn't have to be something complicated. But if you find out that you cannot even take 15 minutes of your entire 24 hours to do something for yourself, to do something personal, even if it's to read a book, to listen to music, to even talk with a friend, I remember when I was a new mom, I blanked everybody. I blanked
That's
everybody.
me.
Yes, I shouldn't have done that. So if
I
you're
wasn't
listening
into
to me
social
right now,
media.
please don't isolate yourself. It's not the way to go. But I'm just trying to relate it to losing yourself in motherhood. If you can't even find 10 minutes to check in with those you love, apart from your spouse and your children that are living with you under the same roof, there are chances that you're losing yourself to motherhood. Then the second one is, if you stop caring about the way you look. Now, I know it's difficult. Self care and motherhood will always be a continuous topic because it can be hard. Even the things that were basic for you to do before becoming a mom, you now realize that after becoming a mom, some basic self care activities now look like a luxury. So, but I'll give a random instance so we can relate better with what I'm saying. Let's assume you go to church on a Sunday, and then you see single women, married women, mothers alike, mothers like you, and then they are well put together, like they are well dressed, their hair is not scruffy, they're just looking good. Even if they are wearing flat shoes, their flat shoe is not dusty, it's just looking clean. And then you look at yourself and you realize that even though you woke up 2 hours before everyone, even though you're the one that got everyone
Was
ready,
it
even
ready?
though you're the one that gave them breakfast and everything, that you took all of 10 minutes to get yourself ready to church. Like you just opened your wardrobe, grabbed the first thing you saw, put it on, and then you ran out the door. And then you start feeling bad. You're not feeling bad because you're envious of those women that are looking good. You're feeling bad because you know that the person you used to be before becoming a mom would take more time with her appearance. You understand? But all of a sudden, you no longer care. I know we've all been through that phase. I don't know. Someone can say that she, even after becoming a mom, she was still looking like a diva. I went through periods of self-neglect. And I know a lot of moms that also went through periods of self-neglect. So if you find yourself always neglecting yourself, neglecting the way you look, and then your personal hygiene, everything, you're just so focused. You see a mom that is dead tired on her feet, like she hasn't been able to take a shower and it's well past midday, but she's still fussing over her children. It's very common. Even if her children are taking a nap, like she be complaining of free time. The third one is, if you're complaining of free time and then when you eventually get the free time, you have no idea what to do with it. Like you're just blank. I experienced, so that's what I'm telling you. Like I used to complain bitterly when my husband comes home from work, and I'll tell him, since morning that you left, I've not sat down. I've been doing this, I've been doing that. And then the following day, he comes home earlier from work, say an hour earlier. And then he's playing with our kids in the sitting room. And I'm just in my room. Free time. I have no idea what to do with the free time. So what I'll then be doing is, I'll be strolling from my room to the sitting room to just check on them, admire their play, and then I'll go back to my room. I will end up spending that time doing nothing, but I'm the one complaining of free time. So if you have nothing that makes you happy to occupy even the little free time that you have in the early years of motherhood, you can't find anything you find joy in
Mm,
to do when
mm,
you're not actively busy taking care of your kids.
mm.
Yeah, then there's a chance that you've lost yourself to motherhood. Then the next thing I want to say is, if you used to have a day job, I've never worked a day job in my life, but if you used to have a day job and then you got married and then got pregnant, had a baby, and decided to become a stay-at-home mom, it will be very hard to adjust to. A lot of working moms that have lost themselves would describe this similar scenario as what happened to them, because all their adult life, they've always been associated with a particular setting, a professional setting. So they've been there delivering value, mixing up with their professional colleagues, and all of a sudden they're at home breastfeeding, taking care of a newborn. It's a very heavy mental shift for anyone to
Yeah.
adjust to. So if you find yourself in that stage, maybe you should take a break and then reconsider
Oh, I think we lost Rita. uh, yep. She will be back. She'll be back. Anyway, if you're just now joining us, welcome, welcome in. I see you in the chat. Welcome in, and We are here talking about how to rediscover your sense of self in motherhood. So it's an amazing and a beautiful conversation. I want you to join in as well if if you can relate to what she's talking about, if you've had seasons like that, because as she's talking, I can, look back and see times when I can now tell when were those times when I really kind of was losing my sense of self. If you can relate, please do let us know in the comment section below. Welcome back, Rita. Back
Okay,
over
thank
to you.
you. Okay, so as I was saying, so for working moms that have now found themselves staying at home, so that transition could be very hard and could lead to them losing themselves to motherhood. But the good thing is that it's just for a while. Then the last point that I feel maybe almost every mom, whether even the celebrities and everyone has passed through it, the new mom phase, the postpartum phase is very tough. Somehow no one prepares you for it. Like you just be pregnant and then you have a new baby. I was speaking with a friend and she was like that she had a baby today and then the following day the hospital discharged them and that she was in a hurry to go home. So the nurses were like, won't you spend an extra day with us so we can take care of you and your new baby? But she was like, no, 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 no. I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. They discharged them. So they had migrated to a new country. So her husband was a student and also working. So she said the very day they discharged them from the hospital, the husband just ushered them home and just told him, babe, please, I'll be right back. I really need to get to work. I'm running late. And then he closed the door and left. She found herself alone at home with a brand new infant. And she was like that it was as if someone just placed a blanket of loneliness around her shoulder, like that she has never felt that alone in the world, like since she was born. So the postpartum phase is very tough on everyone. Your body feels foreign to you. You can never recognize your own body. And at the same time, your body is trying to heal. You have a newborn to care for and everything. So that's another one, another reason that makes mom to lose themselves. Then let me now relate it to motherhood back in the day and then motherhood now. That's the last point I have for why women lose themselves to motherhood. If you notice, in our mother's time, being a stay-at-home mom, I won't exactly call it a flex, but it was not a big deal. Like women just made these sacrifices for their families. Then they started businesses on the side, businesses that thrive though, by the way, because almost every stay-at-home mom I know that is grandma now, their business is like was thriving then and is still thriving now. So will I say that mothers of the older generation, they they are not as ambitious as our generation of women and mothers. A lot of moms are just content to stay at home and raise their kids and then start businesses and everything. But our generation of mothers, hey, want to be the CEO of the world or the vice president of the world, and at the same time, want to have these little babies. We want to have it all. We want this picture perfect motherhood. You're the CEO of one very big organization. You have your little kids, you have an adoring husband and everything. We want everything at the same time. Like we find it difficult to understand that life is in phases. Like you have to move from step A to step 2 to step 3. We want to get to the top of the ladder before 6 o'clock today. So a lot of moms in our generation are this way. And then because of that, we often find ourselves juggling so many areas of life at the same time, something that should ordinarily come one after the other.
Mhm.
Our generation of moms try to juggle it all at the same time. So it's only normal that at some point you will lose yourself. And it's only when one gets to that breaking point, like when motherhood and life challenges of just being a regular adult knocks you to your knees, that's when you then realize that, oh, I have to prioritize. Oh, I have to take things one after the other. You understand? Oh, I have to take life easy. Oh, I have to prioritize my health. Oh, I have to prioritize my this. That's when a mom now starts setting priorities. So if you are a mom and then you want to be everything at the same time, it's very likely that you will lose yourself to motherhood.
Wow. You have put the details. I think after this live I have to go listen to this segment again. I just love the way you have broken down the
Thank
different
you.
things, the different areas that really makes it clear to us that we have, somebody can pinpoint if they have lost them. So in fact, when you were talking about let me just share my own funny hospital story. When you were talking about the lady, I was laughing because I think I was one of those women. I remember when I had my first child, and that was through C-section. I had another elderly friend in my life. She wasn't
Yeah,
even at the hospital. She called me. She said, "Girl, they're going to want to spend the night with that baby. When they come and ask you for the baby, allow them to keep the baby in the night because then they will change the baby. If you're pumped, they will give your baby your breast milk and then they'll bring your baby in the morning so you can get rest. You've had this baby by
yeah,
C-section. You need to heal. Remember, when you go home, you don't have hospital beds where you will spring up, spring down. You can control it. You
yes,
can push a
yes. You
button
don't
and
have
somebody will
anyone
come
watching
and
over you
lift
at
you up.
home.
You will not have that when you get home. You have a C-section. Rest. I
Yes,
was like, me, no, I want my baby. They will come in the evening. Do you want us to keep the baby? Or do you want? I want to spend my night with my baby. Then I had me some crying babies. All my three babies have been crying babies. These babies will cry all night in the morning. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My body is healing from a C-section. And then, just like you're saying, on my way home, all of a sudden I was like, and I'm a nurse. I have some medical knowledge on all of these things. But let me tell you, when it comes to you, mother, your body doesn't care your education, you know?
yes,
And
yes,
I'm like,
yes.
here am I with a little baby, I'm heading home. This is a life. This is a life I have to raise. When right now I feel like I haven't even figured mine out. I remember
Yes,
just having this mixed feeling, crying my way. I can still remember myself in that car crying my way home. And when I got home, I would still hear that woman's voice in my head, but I'm still I'm still like this with my baby. Second
yes,
one, I
yes.
think I loosened up a little bit. By the time I had the third one, I said, keep that baby and let me sleep.
Like a new
Keep
mom
that
needs all the help she can get. So when she was narrating the story to me, she was like that when she got home and then her husband had to start rushing back to work. Then she was asking herself, this can't be it now. Like, are you trying to tell me that this is motherhood? I'm now a mom. This is it. I'm the one in charge of this little baby. You understand? So, and she eventually went through postpartum depression, but I'm glad to see that she's all right now. So, the new mom stage is very tough on everyone. But the good news is that after a while, even if you don't know that you're passing through this thing, when you're over it, when you hear
Mhm.
someone talking about it, you will know that that's what you went through.
Yes, yes. Just like now you're saying those things, and I know that I went through
Yes,
it. Thank
yes,
you so much, Rita. Again, welcome. I see those of you in the chat talking. Baby blues is a very serious. I think, and I want to just tell a mom here that I don't think that just because it's your third, fourth child, you may not still experience those new moms little seasons. I cried
that's
on my way
it.
home with my third baby as though it was the first. That's just me. I turned to. And you would think like, oh, is this your first child? No, it was my third. I already learned certain things, learned from mistakes of first, second, but it was still
Every
overwhelming.
child is different.
Yes, very, very different. I used to look at
Yeah,
moms who had this tantrum babies, like they don't know how to discipline, they don't know how to raise a kid. Why should a child be this way? I didn't know what was coming for me for my third, my little boy. You'll be walking, and in the middle of the road, suddenly his bones will just disappear. He will just become this rope on the floor, rolling. I'm like, boy, what has happened to your bones? He will just roll on the floor and begin to cry. You're putting him up, he's just going like this. And I was like, wow. I used to judge moms when I saw them in the mall and a baby. And of course, I know that sometimes you will see kids that are not well behaved, but I just saw that each child brought its own thing and its own challenges. And
yeah,
something that you have said here that I just want to share my experience, which I believe would maybe help someone too, is that aspect of wanting to juggle it all at the same time. I
yeah,
love that you brought that aspect of the fact that you can lose yourself even chasing things. Because many times people think that when you are addressing the topic of losing yourself in motherhood, it's because you left the things you wanted to do. I'm sorry, people,
yeah.
if you see me talking and I keep trying to fix something here, I'm having some issues going on with my windows just going on and off. So if you see me looking away, I'm just trying to fix it.
Okay.
So I remember when I had that kind of season where I was stuck, where I felt lost, and I was asking myself, why should I be feeling lost? I've finished my academics, in my nursing job, wonderful marriage. I've been blessed with kids. I'm living in a place where it was my dream place, and I'm kind of like going somewhere. Why do I feel lost? Why do I feel stuck?
Yeah.
And I fell back to what you said earlier, that we have a purpose. And I remember that after going through, I will spare the long story of my journey to finding my purpose in life. I realized that I was an encourager. I was, someone who can
Yeah.
exhort and help other people also find themselves. But something that was clear to me is that I had the purpose, but that purpose is lived out in every season differently. I was in a season where I was called, to live out that purpose, prioritizing motherhood. And so I had to figure out ways within that season to not lose myself in that season,
Yeah.
and I knew that purposeful living means that you're living an intentional life. Intentional life means that you have values and principles and you're aligning your life with those principles. So I told myself, Chantal, you can't be out there trying to live intentionally if you have not yet addressed living intentionally in your season.
At
From
home.
there,
Yeah.
Rita, motherhood became different for me. It's very different when you said something I caught it when you said it, that there is a difference between just motherhood chores and really when you get into a season of really doing motherhood. I think that's
Yeah.
when I left from just busy with the chores of being a mom to being a mom. You have said that it's not
Yeah.
about who
To
we
be
are.
a mom.
When I discovered who I
Yeah.
was, I think I became a better mom. I became an
Yes.
intentional mom. I looked for ways to live my purpose as a wife. I became an intentional wife. I looked for ways to become an intentional daughter, sister, daughter in law. So I had a lot of issues, things that I
Exactly.
had to address around me first before I go anywhere. So I want to
Yeah.
encourage a mom out there that you may have found your purpose, you may have found your calling, but in that season, how are you going to live out that calling in that season? I found a way to live out in that season, and gradually
Yeah.
it began to change. Things began to other avenues. Other I remember I've shared it many times on my lives here and videos how I was able to extend that to the church. I left from the choir and started serving in the children's ministry. I was able to extend that purpose to the mothers who came there. And that's just how it has extended until I now can extend that purpose here on YouTube where I have. So if you understand that when you know who you are, that purpose is going nowhere. Just figure out how you can use that purpose in that season. And I think your eyes will open up to still live a purposeful life. The vision is there, the purpose is there, but how you will navigate it through different seasons of life will change. So I think that is
Yeah.
an amazing thing you have brought up, that you can actually lose yourself. It's one tag that I have here on Shanti Bloom is also that I'm here to help you pursue your purpose without losing yourself in the process. So many people think that you lose yourself in motherhood because you forgot about your ambitions and you were just mothering.
Yeah.
But you can
No,
actually gather so much and still lose yourself. Rita,
and
I'm
still
so
lose
happy
yourself.
that you
Yeah.
brought that up. Yeah, yeah. Over to you. Yes, there's something you want to say.
Okay. Now I was just trying to corroborate with something that you're already saying. So let's move ahead. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you there. And you talked about priorities, which is something that I want us to kind of touch before we talk about another very important thing you mentioned inside in your book, which I think is going to
Okay.
really help some moms here. There are two things. Please, if you've just come in, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. We're looking at how we can discover our sense of self in motherhood. We have just established that yes, motherhood is challenging. We have equally looked at how we can tell that we have lost ourselves, and we're now just going to be zoning in soon on how we can actually get out of that phase. And I hope that you can still stay tuned. We're not going to keep you here long, but there's something I know Rita is going to share with us here that is going to really be amazing. You've talked about priorities, and
Yeah.
I I want to just ask you because you said something in your book about the importance of values when you want to go
Yeah.
through that when you're going through the stage of rediscovering yourself, uncovering, the importance of values. I just want you to talk a little bit about how important that is because it's easy to throw out there that, oh, let us prioritize, but our priorities nowadays are influenced by so many things. Priorities can
Of
be
course.
influenced by your mental health. Social media can influence your priorities. So how do we go through this process of how important is principles, beliefs, and values in the process of coming back to knowing who you are, what you carry, and what you can be doing even outside of motherhood?
Okay. So I have a simple method for determining what you should prioritize at any particular point in your life. So what you just need to do is to maybe make a short list of various areas of your life. For instance, you could start from relationships.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to relationships now, what are your values concerning it? What do you believe? For me personally, I believe that relationships in life, I believe that life is all about relationships, and then that relationships worth more than money. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. Somebody else may say that money, financial, maybe financial capacity, wealth, everything trumps relationships. So if I'm a mom now and I say that I value relationships more
Mm-hmm.
than money, you can already see that if I leave my kids in the care of someone else to chase a 9 to 5 at this particular stage of my life, no matter the progress I make there, no
Mm-hmm.
matter the value I give there, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be an unhappy person. I'm always going to feel like I prioritize my relationships over whatever it is that is going on in my finances. So how then was I able to leave my kids and then to go and start chasing a 9 to 5 career outside? You understand? So when okay, this is for relationships. Now we could talk about spirituality. When it comes to spirituality, what do you believe? So if the life you're living every day, if decisions you're making every day that you wake up is in contrast with what you believe. For instance, I also believe that children should be looked after. If a mom can afford to stay at home, even if it's for 6 months to 1 year, I don't know, I'm so much against the 3 months maternity leave. I don't know where you want a mom to leave her 3 months old baby and
Baby.
go to work. I don't know how productive you want her to be in that workplace, like with her 3 months old in someone else's care. So for me now, I believe that a mom should be given the opportunity, even if the mom is a CEO of the company or regular employee, she should be given the opportunity to look after her newborn for at least 6 months to 1 year, and then she can resume. That's what I believe. So another mom will believe that she will take her baby to daycare at the end of the 3 months, and then that her baby will be fine and she'll be fine. And you see that both parties will be fine. Now, if someone like me is taking decisions like someone that believes in the 3 months maternity leave, I'll be unhappy. But when it comes to women, what I've realized is that most times women don't take these decisions for themselves. There's always a more influential person in their lives taking decisions. So where I think that moms lose themselves is maybe their spouse, their husband, their partner, their boyfriend, whoever, if they're not yet married, someone else in their lives is taking decisions for them that is in total contrast with what they believe, and they are just trying to go along with it for peace to reign. You understand? So if you don't want to lose yourself in motherhood, you must make sure that your values are reflected in your everyday life. If your values are not reflected in your everyday life, you're going to lose yourself as a mom. Whichever area of life you want to think about, try to make sure that your life reflects your values. I'll use myself as an example. Like I told you at the beginning of this session, I didn't set out to become a stay-at-home mom. In fact, I didn't know when the whole stay-at-home mom thing happened to me. So I just saw myself as a stay-at-home mom. So I spent a lot of time resenting the stay-at-home mom life because it was not my idea. My mom was not a stay-at-home mom. My mom was a teacher, and she would always tell. I have three sisters, so four girls in total in my house. So she would always tell us the worst thing that can happen to any woman is to be a stay-at-home mom. Don't be a stay-at-home mom for any reason. Don't be a housewife. I started hearing this thing from when I was as young as 8, 9 years old, and I grew up with it. So my mom would be like, don't depend on any man financially. Make sure you're standing on your 2 feet. Make sure you're standing on your 2 feet. Make sure you're bringing value to the table. Make sure you're contributing. So I heard that all through the while I was growing up. I heard it through my teenage years. I heard it when I became a young woman. And then here I was in my husband's house as a stay-at-home mom, bringing nothing in
Nothing
quotes,
to the table.
bringing nothing to the table. So you can see that there was a clear contrast
Mhm.
in what I believed and what was happening in my everyday life. So I was very unhappy. How did I fix that? I realized that the belief that a stay at home mom brings absolutely nothing to the table was the belief of my mom,
And not yours.
not my own belief. So
Yeah.
that was a light bulb moment for me. A light bulb just went off in my head. And I'm like, because I heard this thing from when I was a little girl to now that I'm an adult. So I believed it, but it wasn't my own belief. It wasn't my value. It was what my mom valued. You understand? So I now realize that as a stay at home mom, in fact, as I'm speaking with you now, the way my family is set up, if I travel for 2 days, they will be fine because my husband knows how to take the kids, do things. But who I am in their life, oh no, they'll be calling me per second. In fact, I went to pick up my referendum result, I think 2 weeks ago and everything. So my husband was like, won't you see if you can just check in the hotel, spend the night so you don't travel at night. So you have to come back the following day during the day. So I said, no, I'll just leave much earlier, maybe before daybreak, so I can attempt a day trip. If it doesn't work out, I'll then spend the night.
Mhm.
But I wasn't doing it because I wasn't doing it from a place of compulsion, like you
Yes.
must come back today. I genuinely couldn't wait to get back to my family.
Yeah.
I really, really wanted to get back to them. I didn't want to spend the night elsewhere. I just wanted to get back home. But if I compare it to when I was resenting my life as a stay-at-home mom, when I believed I had no value
Mm.
just because I wasn't bringing anything to the table, that time, if you tell me, Steve, go and pick up your results, stay 2 days now so you can come back by weekend, I would gladly take it. Like, because I feel like I need to escape this space for some time because I was unhappy. You understand? So now that I used to believe so much in having a 9 to 5. Like, as a woman, don't stay at home because you have kids, you have to go out and work. That was my mom's belief. Now that I'm now my own woman, I've assessed things and then I know what I believe that works for me. Respectfully saying, if I'm offered a 9 to 5 at this particular stage in my life, not in the future, I'm going to tell you to hold on a bit. I have other priorities. Maybe sometime in the future, I'll come and take the 9 to 5 job from you. So if you don't want to lose yourself to motherhood, make sure that your values reflect your everyday life. There are still moms that up till this day, they still believe that you have to go out and work. I work from home now. I earn my own income and everything, and I'm building a career. But there are still some moms that believe that to make that happen, to provide value in their home, that they have to go out and work. If you're listening to me right now and that is what you really believe, I just want you to know that until you do that thing, you will not be happy.
Mm.
No matter the amount of motivational speeches you listen to, stay at home moms, they bring value, stay at home moms hold the society together, you're going to be unhappy because deep down, it's not what you believe. So you're always going to be unhappy. But if your values are reflected in your everyday life, like the things that you believe, you're acting them out, that is how you live your life, then you're not going to lose yourself. On the flip side, stay at home moms are invaluable, like they are priceless. They are priceless. You cannot compare the value that stay at home moms bring to their homes. So I just wanted to put it out there. So it just depends on what you believe, as we all can't believe in the same thing at the same time. So
Oh my goodness. Rita, you're coming back for us to dig deep on this. You know, I've had this burden on how to say certain things to stay at home moms. And I think you have articulated it in the best way. You know, my husband is here saying very interesting conversation and so deep. He can be my
thank
witness. I
you.
used to say, you know what, there's some things I feel about this, being present as a mom, that if you share it with somebody, they'll be like, well, that's just the excuse you have. You're just giving that excuse so you feel comfortable
Yeah,
to,
they
to
believe
sit
in
there.
an SQ.
But I said that,
Yes.
it has to be nobody understand when it comes from here, when it comes from, an intentional place. I
Yeah.
from the books I have read, from stories of successful people, there is one thing I have heard all the time. And that one thing is that what? You will never succeed if you don't do something from a place of conviction. Have you ever
Yes.
seen somebody trying to be a personality they are not, or trying to pass across a
Yeah.
message just because you can
Or
smell that?
living your life to please other people, to
Yes.
please your loved ones. It doesn't matter who the loved one is. Oh. It doesn't matter if it's your mom or your dad or your husband or your wife. As long as you're not really convinced that this is what you should be doing, but you're doing it because of somebody else. If you like listening to 50 motivational speeches, you will not find happiness.
I love that. I love that, Rita. You know, I saw that you cannot succeed if you don't do something from a place of conviction, and then you cannot also do something from a place of conviction if it does not align with your principles and your values in life.
Yes,
When
yes. You
something,
have to
you
really
know,
believe in that
you
thing
have
you're
to
doing.
believe in it. That is why even in my niche, what I do, there's so many people
Yeah,
who share and preach the same thing, and there are just some things that don't sit right with me because it doesn't come from my place of value. And even if I try to present that same topic in that way, I don't feel it. I'm not lying to you. That
yeah,
videos I've recorded, and after that, sitting and editing, I've listened to it, and I was like, "No, Shanta, you're not convinced about this thing you're saying here. Maybe you're just sharing this thing because it's trending, and you think it's going to make your video go
yes,
viral. You
yes,
are
yes,
not
I get
convinced."
that.
And I have decided not to put it up. When you cannot succeed if you don't do something from a place of conviction, and you cannot do something from a place of conviction if it does not align with your values. I love
Yes,
what you have shared here. So, my dear moms out there, the decisions you're taking, what you're feeling, is it coming from a place of, you know, uh, is it
belief,
coming from a place of
conviction.
conviction, or is it something that, has been put on you? And I'm happy that you were able to go through a journey of discovery. That's why self discovery awareness is
Yeah,
so important.
self-discovery.
Awareness is so important.
What
And I,
do you really believe?
yeah, I had talks when I was a stay-at-home mom, or people say, I can't do that. I can't be in a place where I'll be depending on a man for every 5 francs, every $5. And I was like, you don't know the system of money, how it flows in my home. That's your own
Yeah,
assumption from where you come from from maybe another experience of another stay-at-home mom's, story. So if I was not convinced or convicted, I will not do what I'm doing. Those kind of things will affect my priorities, the decisions I make. Social media will affect me. Like I just shared with you now that before the time where I became very self-aware of who I am and my calling and purpose and the giftings in my life, I was torn between. See, Rita, as a nurse, then you go years at home, and then because I was like back and forth. I'm blessed to be in a profession where I can do that, right? As a nurse, I could
yeah,
take off, and after a while, I get back there. Nurses are needed, but
yeah,
then I struggled when I took off because I was missing work. And then when I was going back to work, I struggled because I had not been there for a while. I began to feel like I lose my self confidence somehow, and I had to study harder and update myself a little bit extra. If they were doing some continuing education things, I quickly signed up for them because I wanted to boost my confidence back, in the workfield. So you have all those ups and downs that happen, but something that kept me were my own principles. And as a child of God, knowing my seasons in life and how to prioritize. Will you get it right all the time? No. It's a
no,
journey. You make wrong decisions. You say, oh, maybe I should have done this at this time. Maybe I should have done it this way and that way. But the fact that it's you, is coming from within. You don't go to a place that is so dark within you, bitter and resentful. So I
yeah,
think you just really, I love the way you've really broke down that aspect of taking decisions based on your values. And
yeah.
if you can, maybe you had talked something about acceptance being that thing that bridges the gap between grieving and gratitude. Can you explain a little bit about that before we kind of conclude on a few things?
Okay. So when it comes to acceptance now, I'll just say I don't know if it happened to everyone, but it definitely happened to me. So after becoming a mom, I struggle so much against motherhood life. Like motherhood will push, I'll push back. It will push, I'll push back. I'm like, you cannot defeat me.
You're fighting with it.
You cannot defeat me. So after I had my first baby, I was looking forward to when my first baby will become a year old, 2 years old, and then I can get myself back. I was seriously looking forward to getting the pre-motherhood version of myself back, only for me to received the rude shock that I was pregnant for the second baby. And then even after everything I went through, I still went ahead to have the third baby. so, so I think if you keep struggling against motherhood, if you keep always like thinking like you can go back, you just wish that you can just, if only you had delayed having kids for maybe 5 years, 10 years, so you can enjoy being free for some time. If you're always going back to the past, you can't be happy with the present. So it took years of struggling for me to now tell myself the truth. Really, you're not going back to any pre-motherhood anything. No. Have you ever seen anybody with 3 kids and be acting as if she doesn't have any? I now tell myself that there's nothing like pre-motherhood life for you anymore. The chapter is over and out. You understand? So, but what I think a lot of mom miss it, I missed it too, is always wishing and wishing and wishing. Oh, how I wish I could go back. Oh, how I wish I enjoyed my single years more. Oh, how I wish I delayed having kids for some time. It's all right to wish you. I used to wish, but the truth is that it's going to make you a very unhappy person. It's going to make you very dissatisfied with life. You'll be snapping at everybody. You'll be snapping at your husband, you'll be snapping at your kids. Like a lot of times kids just get trapped in their own world and they do something so outrageous. And then you just find yourself screaming extraordinary, like the offense that they committed is highly disproportional with the amount of screaming that's coming out of you. It comes from a place of frustration. Oh wow, how didn't I check well before entering this thing? So I think there's a bridge, and that bridge is accepting that your life has changed. And then on the other side of the bridge is just grieving the life that you left behind. Because whether you like it or not, motherhood changes everyone. Like Chantal said in the flyer for this life, she was like, motherhood leaves no woman as it found her. I've never heard more truer words being spoken. Whether you like it or not, motherhood has changed you. You're not the same person. So there is no need to keep wishing you could go back to being the same person. You can't be the same person anymore. So you just have to accept that you're in a different stage of life now. And then I call it the bridge between grieving and gratitude. So when it comes to grieving, you just have to ask yourself, what have you lost? For me, I would say I lost my freedom. Now, saying I lost my freedom is ironical because I'm very introverted. I don't go out a lot. So even when I was single, I wasn't going to a lot of places. But having that option taken away, like
All of a sudden, you're holding to it.
yeah, like even those few times you feel like going anywhere to just go and look around, sightseeing, you can't do that anymore without a baby or babies in tow. It was very hard. You understand? So I lost my freedom, I lost my independence. Freedom and independence, they are almost the same thing. So if you want to come to a place of acceptance in your motherhood journey, first of all, ask yourself. You can just write it down. I made a provision for it in my book. You can just write it down. What have you lost? Since you became a mom, what have you lost? Did you lose a job to stay at home with your kids? Did you lose your freedom, the ability to just get up and go as you want? Did you lose your financial independence? Maybe you had a job before and then you had to quit and then you had to become financially dependent on your spouse. I want you to confront those feelings inside you. Just put them down, write them down. They are important, they are your feelings. A lot of times we just believe that we should not validate our negative feelings, but I've come to understand that the negative feelings are as important as the positive ones because the both of them help us grow. So just ask yourself, what have I lost? What have I lost since I became a mom? So when you're able to table out 3, 4, 5 things that you have lost, on the other side of it, ask yourself now, what have you gained? If you ask me what I've gained in motherhood, I've gained my sense of purpose. Like I speak to a group of women and then they come to my WhatsApp or they come to my DM and they're like, Rita, thank you. The simple word thank you adds years to my life. I don't know how to explain, like it makes me come alive. And I was not able to do this when I was not a mom. When I was not a mom, I was not impacting anybody's life. I would not call myself selfish, but I was just a young lady living her life. I had not yet found my purpose. I will not speak to someone and be like, the person will be like, oh, Rita, I don't know what you've done for me, just by speaking to the person. You understand? I've not stood in the gap before for someone going through a difficult time. before I became a mom. So being a mom helps me to find my purpose. So that's something I gained from being a mom. Then the next thing I gained from being a mom is unconditional love. I'm just giving you instances so that in your quiet time, probably after this life, you can just table yours down, or you can get my book. The link is on my bio on Instagram, but if you need, you can just reach out to me. I'll send
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
link. You can
Okay.
just table it out. What have you lost?
Let me put
What
your
have
hand
you
there.
gained? I also gained the ability to express myself freely. You understand? Before I became a mom, if you tell me, "Hey, Riri, I love you," I'm not looking at you. What's wrong with that one? But now my kids tell me, "Mommy, I love you," and I'll be like, "I love you too." They'll say good night. They only told me good night, too. But when I'm responding to the good night, I'll say good night, I love you. So I'm able to express my emotions better. So I gained that from motherhood. So it's just up to you. You just have to list out the things you have lost, list out the things that you have gained. It will help you to come to that place of acceptance. Okay, my life is different now and I'm loving it. Even if you don't love it right now, it will put you on the path to loving a motherhood life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. By the way, I've just put up there, if you go on Instagram, Young Nigerian Mom. Yeah, that is Rita. If you need any more information on how to get her book, or not just a mom. You when you were talking about your loss and your gain, I was like, did this girl see me when I was feeling my own the worksheet in your book? Because
Yeah,
I actually even put it on one of the questions I was going to ask you here, and it's funny you've already brought it out. I was going to ask you
yeah,
if that has been your experience, because my experience is more like, even though we say we lose ourselves in motherhood, I felt like it's within that same motherhood that I have found
that
me.
you found yourself.
Because
Yes,
when we
motherhood
look
is that
at,
profound.
yes,
Yes,
and I'm so glad you brought it
it's
up,
that
because
profound.
when I was doing this exercise and thinking, I was like, it's not like the me before motherhood was so smart. It's not like the me before motherhood was naive, and then, like you have said, self-centered. It's me, myself, and
Yeah,
I. I was naive. There are just so many things that I did not know. And you said something, I think I have it somewhere here. Give me a minute. Let me see. I think in your intro, you said something that the pre motherhood was lovely, I'm sure.
yeah,
But this new you, she's even more lovely and certainly worth discovering,
yeah,
knowing and connecting to a new to and connecting to on a deeper level than the role you play every day as a mother. So my role as a mother is still there. The demand of cleaning and all everything, that one will never go anywhere. I'm sorry again, guys. I've told you, if you see me talking and looking elsewhere, I have some gymnastics going on with my screen here. I'm trying to work
okay,
on it.
okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
So you know, I came to see that even though I'm caught up in all the physical motherhood, everything, that journey itself has just made me grow. Like this new me, and again, if I didn't happen to be blessed to have gone through motherhood journey, I believe that God somewhere would have used something else, maybe school, maybe marriage, something to grow me, to help me come to this place where I
Yes, yes,
understand
yes,
who I
yes,
am and what I should do. But I'm just so honored that He used motherhood to bring me through,
yes,
take me through the process
yes,
of really understanding who I am, the gifts and talents. I saw that I had gifts and talents. I had things that I have been living in my life, gradually growing up,
yes,
and I was
yes,
just not
yes, yes,
aware
yes.
of them. But then through motherhood, I've come to have some self awareness. And so, please, people, when we say you've lost yourself in mother and you're finding yourself, it's not like you are trying to rebel against that motherhood. Like Rita says, she pushed her, that motherhood too will push and come. But I have come to a place where it's not like you're fighting and pushing, but you rather just come to a place where you evolve as a person. And
Yes,
like
and
Rita
you
said,
grow.
it is who
Yes,
you
you
are
grow.
now that makes motherhood. There's one of your posts that was so interesting. You had said, when our kids are finally grown, I may not even know how to say it as well as you said it. Nobody will remember ask you what was their stages of growth,
Yeah.
when
How
did they
long
start
did you
working?
breastfeed for?
How
When
did
did
you
they start
breastfeed
working?
and everything? At the end of the day, it's just going to be about who you are that reflects in who they are now.
Yes,
Your,
who you are that eventually reflected in your
mhm,
children.
your
No
children.
one is even going to remember what you did and didn't do. I see when people fight over this woman, she orders food for her family, she didn't cook, blah blah blah. When those kids are adults, all those things are going to be inconsequential. That's why I keep saying motherhood is more of who we are and less of what we do. It's
Mm-hmm.
about who you are to your family, it's about who you are to your kids. And that's what's going to reflect in their lives as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Not what you do, not resting. Because some moms erroneously take joy in the fact that they wake up by 4 a.m. and they sleep by 2 a.m. Like they are the first to wake up and they are the last to sleep.
Last to sleep.
So all those things are not going to matter in the long run. And then I don't know about you, but when my kids are grown, I want to be 100% healthy. Like, okay, they
Mm-hmm.
said that there's a time for the rain in motherhood and there's another time for the rainbow. When I get to my rainbow season of motherhood, when it's time for enjoyment, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be suffering from one ailment or the other that prevents me from reaping the fruits of my labor. Do you understand? So I have to be proactive by making sure that I'm not spending my time doing the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that we do that makes us feel very, very overwhelmed and frustrated with motherhood can be outsourced, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. Remember when I was talking on IG, I said if you're a stay-at-home mom, don't miss this session. A lot of the things that makes us feel overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, and bitter. Like if your husband even comes close to you, the kind of eye you will give the man is wondering, what happened? A lot of the things that we feel very, very frustrated about can be done by other people. If they can't be done by other people, they can wait till the following day. I don't know if you understand.
I get
But
it.
who you are in your children's life, who you are in your husband's life, just being a mom to your family, it can't be
Yeah.
done by anyone else. If you know
Yeah.
anyone else that can be a mom to your kids, maybe you should just tell us in the comment section. Nobody else can be a mom to your kids. But someone else can take them to school. Someone else
Yeah.
can clean the house. Someone else can wash the clothes. Someone else can cook. Sometimes you go out, do you know who made the food? A well-dressed waiter just served you the food and you ate and paid the bill and you went home. Do you know who made the food? So a lot of the things that we stress ourselves over and then end up losing ourselves in the process, like neglecting ourselves and everything, can be done by other people. So just always remember to have a little bit of balance between doing and being.
Being.
Let your being side always trump the
Mm-hmm.
doing side, because frankly, the doing side will be all right. The
Oh,
doing side will be all right. Yeah. So that's it.
you've actually already dived into the question that I was going to kind of round off this session with. And I'm just laughing,
Okay.
and I'm sure my husband is still watching. He's probably laughing as well because there were times that he would be like, "Come and sit down. Sit, let us just watch a movie. Sit." And
You will refuse, right?
I'm like, wait, who would do this and how
Who
would
should do
this
any
happen?
other things now? If you sit down, who will do that?
It's like the
I
world would
can
change on
relate,
us.
yeah.
And then we realize that when you're doing so much and not being, you are not happy. And then even the people around you are not happy. Because
Yes,
you're
yes.
like,
The
you
unhappiness just
and even
spreads to
they
every other
themselves
person
are not
around
happy
you.
because you're absent. And it used to be annoying sometimes. I'm like, I'm busy for you guys. So what do you mean by I'm not there? You understand?
While
Until
everything I'm doing is for you, you're still telling me
yes,
that I'm not there.
I'm not there. What does that mean? And but everything became so beautiful as I grew and understood the balance between the doing and the being. Nobody is saying that
Yeah,
don't do because somebody had also said that people keep telling us moms to take it slow, to not do everything, then who will do the job, right? I
yes,
came
yes,
across one video today that made me laugh. The person said, no matter how much you clean your kitchen, the next morning you will still need to clean it. I had that conversation just
yes,
recently with my husband because I think my kitchen is another place I'm addicted to cleaning it. And I was like, how do I just keep this thing clean without it being, dirty all the time? But because that is something also, again, like I've said, let it come from a place where you're not being compelled. It's something that also makes me happy. A clean home makes me
yes,
happy. So I have figured out a way to balance that part of me, which I want to
yes,
do,
yes, yes,
and these other things that I want to do, and also just being there, being a wife,
yes,
being a mom. You realize that even you are now happy because you are not just doing chores, you are also being yourself. And by being yourself, the people around you are able to
exactly,
enjoy the being yourself, because you're not
exactly.
being yourself just for you. You're being yourself because you carry something to exude out there. So by being, my kids will remember my being and not my doing. I can
Yes,
go out
yes,
there
yes.
and work so hard and buy them the most expensive things. They'll go out there and put in the mud. All those brand and those things that we do sometimes are for us,
How
not
it
even
barely
for them.
lasts 24 hours.
Yeah. So I started to, there was a season in my life I realized that I don't even know how to sit down like this and eat because I was so used to eating on the go.
Yes, 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 yes. It
Yeah.
happens to me too. It happens to
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. So again, that being said, before I just ask you the last thing and let us round off. That being said,
Okay.
what encouragement can you give a mom who is in that phase? Because like you had acknowledged it before, that whether we like it or not, there is a phase where the doing almost outweighs the being. It's
Yes, yes.
easier for us
Anything.
to it's easy for me now to say certain things because, well, my daughter, I can go get water for her. So actually my daughter can make a sandwich for herself and eat without me. But then there were stages where somebody cannot even lift up their finger without your help. So there are
Yeah.
stages
You
like that
can't
where
even go to the bathroom without someone in tow.
Mm. You even when you want to go to the bathroom, there's no way. I can't tell how many times I'm
Yeah.
answering a call in the bathroom to get privacy, but even then the door is knocking.
Yes,
you
yes,
know.
yes, yes.
So what encouragement can you give a mom who is in that phase right now, who can be looking at us and be like, well, that's easy for you guys to say, I really want to be, but there's just so much for me to do. It's like if I don't, things will literally collapse. It's true. If you don't really
Yes,
go and
yes, yes,
feed that
yes. I
baby, that
understand.
baby is gonna be hungry. So what encouragement can you give a mom who is still in that phase, on how they can still, even in the phase where the doing is outweighing the being, not to still lose
Yeah.
themselves in that? How can they still be able to be themselves even in that season?
Okay. So thank you. The first thing I would say is
Mhm.
there's a quote I saw on the website, a mom far from home or some people. The title of the article she wrote is Now is Not Forever. So if you are still at home mom, maybe in the first 5 years of your motherhood life, I just want you to keep repeating this quote in your head. Now is not forever. This is the phase of motherhood you are in. You will still get lots and lots of opportunities to just be a mom instead of doing things that make you a mom. So that's the first one. Now is not forever. You will eventually pass through this stage. Your kids will eventually start eating on their own. They'll be potty trained. Don't worry about all those things. Just take each day as it comes. Then the second thing I would say, for a mom currently in this stage of motherhood, in the first 5 years, you're a stay at home mom, you're a new mom, you had kids close together and everything. Face yourself. Whether you like it or not, you cannot do everything in 24 hours. I'm sure you've tried. I've
I have.
tried. I used to
I
try.
have.
Every other person has tried and I failed woefully. Yes. So you cannot do everything under 24 hours. So what I would like you to do is to pace yourself. Have a priority list. If you don't have the time or you don't just care for writing things down, you can just every day just set a mental task. There will be something that you achieve in a day as a mom that will just make you feel like, okay, I can now just sit down for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Once you do that thing, you're okay. And then there are 20 other things that you can do that will still make you feel like you've not actually achieved anything that day.
Yeah.
You've not done anything. So for everything you have to do every day when you're in the doing stage, some are more important than others. So why don't you just let go of the unimportant ones? Use the time, use the time that you would have used to do some unimportant tasks to just lay your head down. If you don't want to sleep, you can just put up your feet on the couch. Prioritize. You cannot finish everything. Some are more important than others. Okay, let me use myself as an example. If, for instance, today when I woke up, I said I was going to do laundry, and then I ended up having marathon live sessions, feeding my kids, sweeping, cleaning the bathroom, and everything. At the end of the day, when I want to lie down, I'm still going to feel as if I didn't do much. Why? Because when I woke up this morning, I told myself I was going to do laundry, that our laundries were up and I needed to beat them down. So have a priority list. Have that thing that you be like, okay, I've done this for today. I can now rest. Pace yourself. If you want to keep trying to, to just muzzle through everything, you're going to be very angry, and you're going to be reactional to everything that happens around you. Like, you're not even going to, like, if something happens now, you won't be able to maybe say, take a deep breath before responding. You're always going to be exploding. It's one of the causes of mom rage. Like, when
Mom
you're
explosion.
always on your feet, you're always on your feet doing something, and then someone else is just somewhere else behaving funny. I don't know if you understand. So please just face yourself. Have priority, things that you will just do for a day and then you rest. Then the third thing I would say is that's actually extremely important. Don't isolate yourself. I went through periods of isolation in motherhood. I've also heard and read the experiences of many moms that went through isolation. While isolating yourself can feel comforting, at least I did it because it afforded me the opportunity to not explain myself to anybody
Yeah,
because I was going through so much. So
true.
while you can get comfort from isolating yourself, it damages you long term. You understand? So don't isolate yourself. You don't even have to meet anyone physically. Just find a motherhood community. There are thousands of motherhood communities online, on social media, wherever it is. Just find a community that looks as if their content appeals to you.
To
You can
you.
just join the community. You don't even have to comment. That's the thing. Because I was in one young wife, a early years marriage page, an early years marriage page on Instagram, and I was not even commenting much. But over time, I found myself in their inner circle because I just really loved the page and everything. So you don't even have to be active, but try not to isolate yourself. Always communicate what you are feeling. One thing I've realized about the other gender is they are not mind readers. So you might just assume that, can't you see I'm going through a lot? Can't you see that I'm passing through this? See, my dear sister, they are not seeing. Or they might be seeing it, and then because you're not speaking up, they expect that you can handle it. But if you express yourself, if you communicate properly, if you tell your spouse, please, these are specific ways that you can help me at this stage of our lives, you see that
Yeah,
things will become better.
yeah.
So don't isolate yourself. Just speak out. Don't assume that your spouse knows how to support you. Tell your spouse specific ways to support you. And then the last thing I have to say is just identical to the first one. Now is not forever. It eventually gets better. You grow through the phase.
Beautiful, beautiful Rita. You guys, don't you all just love Rita and how she talks? And I mean, just shower some love on her in there, and just some sweet and nice words to just bless and appreciate this lady right here for being so vulnerable, open, transparent, And I had put it even on my page. I said on my, I don't know if it was on WhatsApp or Instagram, I said, she's going to make you laugh and then cry at some point, and then really just feel like, okay, you spoke with somebody that understands what you're going through. Thank you, Rita, you've really done that today. And I'd like you to round off by, you've already mentioned a number of them within the conversation, but maybe just asking you this, some of them can come to your mind to just list out. And I think the way that you called it in your book, you called them let me see, you call them unhelpful baggages, right? Sometimes unhelpful baggages that we carry in motherhood that makes our journey difficult for no reason. And you said one of it was that baggage where you just believe that because you're a stay-at-home mom, you're worthless,
You don't bring any
and you had
value
to
to the
take away
table.
that
Yeah.
baggage, and you saw that. And another baggage, like, okay, you cannot take off time from taking off your kids to take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
You
And I remember
cannot
you
take
even
time
shared,
to.
yeah, you shared a story of how your child had to cry through you doing your hair, because it's not like they were not fed, they were not sleep, you had not done everything, you did everything, but you had to have your head on, and you
Yeah.
had somebody, and you didn't just throw the baby there or neglected and went out there. You went through the pain of bringing somebody, and I'm sure that you had to pay extra for someone to come, because
Of
for us,
course, to pay
whenever
extra.
whenever I have
And
somebody
it
come.
took a lot of courage for me to do that because I was looking homeless. I was looking homeless. So I just had to do it. And then I made sure I did everything. I made sure I fed the baby. I made sure his diaper was dry. I even had extra food with me just in case you still want to
Mhm.
eat. We have food here. My baby rejected food because his stomach was full, but he just decided to be fidgety. I'm like, okay, we must finish this here today.
We will finish this year. Will finish today. Yeah. So you said those are some of the things, the baggages that we can carry, which will make you feel like, no, at this moment, I'm not being, a good mom to the point where. So what are some of those baggages? I know you said the one of, if I take out time for myself, I'm selfish. If I do not clean up after my kids every day, I'm lazy. What are some of those baggages, and what are you encouraging the women, to let down those baggages so that you can make new decisions. Again, we're not saying just live like this. You need to have principles and values. It falls back to the fact that we should have principles and values. But if you can just list some of those baggages that maybe come to your mind, and then we'll kind of close on that.
Okay. So you already mentioned some of these. Discard that erroneous belief that you don't bring any value to the table just because you stay at home mom. Unless that's what you truly believe. If that's what you truly believe, then you just need to find a way to get a job somewhere. But if that's not what you really believe, if you truly believe in the amount of value you give your children every day, just know that that thing that is making you not to be happy, that you don't have any value because you stay at home mom, it comes from somebody else around you. And these erroneous beliefs, funny enough, often comes from people that we love, people that we value their opinions. You understand? So just check, where is this belief coming from? Do I really believe it? Like I was mind blown after going through my life, like mentally, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed at night. I just went through my day mentally. I'm like, how can I then say that I don't bring value to the table? Like it's unbelievable. So if you have that belief, just check where it's coming from. If it's coming from deep inside you, maybe you need a mindset shift. Then you need a job. So you either need one of these two things, but just check whether it's really coming from inside you, or whether it's just something that a trusted voice, a loved one, has been drilling into you for some time, and then is shaping your own motherhood journey and making
Okay,
you unhappy.
Rita, can I cut you for a minute? I think we lost you on video. I just wanted to
Okay.
see that it's something you can quickly fix on your end. If not, that's fine because we can hear you.
Okay, I actually lost you on video some seconds
Ah,
ago. Yes,
okay.
yes.
I lost you too on this side. Okay,
Okay.
please let me ask in the comments, please. Do you guys still see us and hear us? Please let us know. So we are not probably talking to ourselves because Rita cannot see me, I cannot see her. But we just want to be sure that we are online.
I can
Please,
see you now.
anybody? Okay, you
I
can
can
see
see
me
you and
now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. I can't see you though.
Okay. But you can still hear me, right?
I can hear you. Yeah, just go ahead. We're just rounding off. So it's okay.
Okay, okay. So the second erroneous belief that moms often have is that you can't take a break from motherhood. Like if you take a break from motherhood, it makes you a bad mom. Maybe if you go to get a drink with your friends, if you
Thank you,
go
mother.
to get your hair done, that automatically you're a bad mom, that you don't deserve a break. See, the only person I know that doesn't deserve a break should be maybe an artificial intelligence. Maybe the person doesn't have flesh and sorry, blood and water running through their veins. As far as a living, breathing human being created by God, we all need a break sometimes. In fact, I think taking a break from your motherhood life will actually make you look forward to getting back. You see, moms, they'll be like, I don't have free time, I don't have free time. And then the mom will eventually go out. And the wife is having fun outside. Her mind is already at home, like, I want to go home to my kids. You understand? So you find her returning to her kids with so much excitement. Oh, I've
Mhm.
missed you guys and everything. And then the person that has never ever had a break from her kids is just filled with resentment and frustration. Oh, how I wish I can run away. How I wish I can just disappear. Nobody will see me again. So we all need a break sometimes. Yes.
Mhm.
So then the third thing I would say, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't work outside the home yet, you can just learn some skills that make things easier for you. You can learn how to bake, you can learn how to sew, you can learn how to write, Doing those things, just find any of them that will make you happy and do it. I promise you to add a lot of value into your life and even in your home. Okay, so imagine I could sew clothes now. I can't sew. If you catch me anywhere saying that I sewed even a handkerchief, that's a lie. I can't sew anything. So imagine that I could sew clothes now. You understand? But I don't work outside the home. So my kids will be wearing this nice, trendy and everything. But please, we will buy everything from the store. So if you can learn how to sew, if you can learn how to sew, if you can learn how to bake, whatever it is that will make you happy, whatever it is that will make you feel like you're doing something, you're putting your energy into something else that is not caring for young children, even if it doesn't bring money immediately. Maybe you
Yeah.
don't start it with the idea that you want to monetize it, because when this age of monetize, the whole thing gives me headache sometimes. Like,
Thank
you
you.
must monetize everything. You can just do things for the sake of doing them and
Yes.
enjoying them. Do you know, like, my husband is a football fan, like he loves football. My husband can tell you about the history of all the clubs in England, but that's his hobby. That's his hobby. Like, I don't see him trying to just make it more than a hobby. You understand? But and that's because, probably because he doesn't spend a lot of time on social media, because he's very, very busy, he's a very busy man.
Yeah.
But if you spend a lot of time on social media, there is this temptation to monetize every little thing.
Everything. Mm.
It takes away the enjoyment from your life. So you find that you're not able to just fully be comfortable in your own skin and just do things because you love doing them, instead of making money from them. So if there's something that you want to learn, a skill set, don't even start doing it because you want to monetize it. Just start it because you enjoy doing it. If
Yeah.
you used to sing before you became a mom, why don't you join the choir in church? Or why don't
Yeah.
you even think to yourself in the bathroom and record it? You're not owing anybody. Just start doing the things that you love again. It's going to make you feel valuable, even if you
Amen.
don't earn money. Then also, you can work from home. I work from home. There are so many things you can do from home. You can be a virtual assistant. Virtual assistant is one wide umbrella. Under the virtual assistant umbrella, you can be a social media manager, you can be a content writer, you can be a project manager, just whatever it is that you want to do. You can manage people's emails and everything. So there are lots of things that you can do from home as a stay
Mm.
at home mom and still be smiling to the bank. Then what's the next erroneous belief that we have? Yes, the last one now, since we're just rounding up. We believe that we have to endure motherhood. I'm telling you this thing because I used to endure motherhood. Before I stepped into my self-discovery phase, I was enduring motherhood. I was enduring myself. I was enduring everything about motherhood. I'm not ashamed to say it now because I've passed through that stage, but everything about motherhood, I was enduring it. I was just telling myself, "Well, really, don't worry. It will get better. It will get better."
Yeah.
You don't actually have to enjoy, you don't actually have to endure motherhood. You can actually enjoy your journey, but it has to come from a place of conviction, a
Yeah.
place of belief, a place of belief. Like, you believe so much in what you're doing that no amount of pressure on social
Yeah.
media can alter it.
Oh
No
yeah.
amount of pressure from no amount of external voices, whether it's offline or online, can alter the path that you're working on. You understand?
Yeah.
So we believe that we have to enjoy motherhood. You don't have to enjoy motherhood. You can actually enjoy motherhood, but motherhood is more enjoyable when you're doing it together with your peers. So that's why I'll always encourage you to join any community of your choice, listen to uplifting messages. The time that you used to listen to so many other things on social media that does not add any iota of value to your life, you could actually use it to listen to uplifting podcasts, read helpful blog posts about maybe you're going through something else, difficulties in potty training and everything. Just read other mom's experience. I promise you, you'll be laughing, you'll be smiling, and you'll just be shaking your head. You just be like, ah, these children. And you're not shaking your head from a point of frustration.
Just
You're just flabbergasted at how children can humble you as a woman. So you don't have to endure motherhood. You can actually enjoy motherhood. And then lastly, for me, for the mom to be listening to us right now, when we tell you about our experiences, we're not trying to scare you. We are you are actually privileged to be listening to us now, because a lot of us didn't get the opportunity to listen to these kind of messages before
yeah.
becoming moms, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why we struggle so much. So there's no reason to be scared. Don't be like, if I'm making me afraid. Like my younger sister will be like, you're making me afraid. I'll be like, don't be afraid. I think you will actually fare way better than me when you
Yeah.
become a mom, now that you have access to all this information. So, sorry. So there's nothing to be scared about. Just count yourself blessed for being prepared. We can't actually be fully prepared before motherhood, but having this information, trust me, it will help you when you eventually start your own journey.
Ooh, really, I could keep you here all day, but
Yeah,
like
we have to go.
like you had said earlier, we're here but we're there.
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. Don't worry, we can always do this again another time.
We're here but we're there. Well, thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes.
You have been a blessing to us. I think there is nothing else for me to try to repeat here or say. Thank you so much, Rita, for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
too.
I think we're going to have more great times here to break down on so many other things. Um,
Yes, yes,
and again, people, I have it on the screen. That's how you can get through to Rita if you have any other questions or you want to join her amazing community. As you see me laughing here, that's how I laugh reading through her post. Like she said, instead of feeling like, oh, poor me, you read something and it's exactly what you're going through, and all you have to do is laugh, come
yes,
back
yes,
home,
yes, yes,
get those kids, just hug them, laugh, and know that, you know what, it cannot be happening everywhere the same way by chance, right? There
yes,
is someone
yes, yes.
divine up there who orchestrated all of these things. And at the end of the day, God's plans towards us is not to harm us, it's not to kill us. It's actually a privilege that we can partner with Him to raise a life that has a purpose. That's how I always look at it. And when it
Yes.
is tough, when I can't do it, I look up to Him. You know, we look up to Him to help us. So thank you so much, Rita. And I'll
Okay.
see you again.
All right. Thank you, Chantal, for having me. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Rita. Oh my God, that was so good. Thank you all so much for making the time to be here today and for staying online up till now. Thanks to all of you who engaged in the chat below, sharing your own experiences, agreeing with some of the things that we're saying here. I appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted. So again, this is the last but one we're going to be having, the other session, which was it's going to be rounding off this little series that I did. Please do give me feedback on how this series has been to you. We had looked at balancing motherhood and ministry. We looked at navigating motherhood as a single mom, and today we have looked at rediscovering ourselves, in motherhood. And next week, the week after next weekend, we're going to be looking at how motherhood affects our relationships starting from within. So, thank you all for those who have been tuning in, and please do tune in again for that round of session. And for those of you who are just finding out about this series today, you can go to Shanty Bloom, and you go to the live section, and you will see all of those live streams there, and you can always rewatch them. Please, when you do, leave me a comment, give me feedback on how it's blessing you. It helps to guide me to also evaluate and also measure progress in what we are doing right here. So thank you all so much, and I'm hoping to see you in the next live. Please, as you're exiting, do not forget to give the live a thumbs up if it was a blessing. Share it so that another mom would rewatch and be blessed. And subscribe to the channel. Keep your notification bells on because more great and beautiful things keep coming up here on Shanty Bloom. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.